Welcome into A Toast of Film. I'm one of your hosts, Ebo, and guys, this week we got a nice little bonus where I'll be reviewing some things I've seen recently, some theatrical, some streaming, and also Jerffy Choo-Choo will be popping him in with a little edit where me and him went and saw The Accountant 2 last night, and we'll have that review for you. But we appreciate y'all listening, watching, whatever you do. Make sure to check us out this week because, this is an Ebo little bonus. I'm just toasting with a nice Coca-Cola. I'm a Georgia boy. We love our Coca-Cola. But today's show, like I said, we'll get to Accountant 2 with me and Jerffy later. But before then, I will be reviewing the theatrical release, Legend of Ochi, the foreign theatrical release, The Ugly Stepsister, as well as two streaming films, one that did go to theaters, Night of the Zoopocalypse, and Popeye the Slayer Man, with a little backstory on that one. So let's go ahead and get into this. Starting out, The Legend of Ochi. This is an A24 family film. I saw this. It was a AMC Screen Unseen. I was very pumped. So this is from writer director Isaiah Saxon. And we got Helena Zengel as Yuri. And she was actually the girl in News of the World with Tom Hanks. Home, that little girl. We got Willem Dafoe being crazy as ever as Maxim. We got Finn Wolfhard as Petro and Emily Watson as Dasha. So the premise of this is they live in this distant little island, secluded from everything. And there are these things that Ochi, and they're like little kind of primate dudes, little like weird monkeys or apes. And the villagers hate these things. They call them monsters. They try and take them out. The opening scene of this is very reminiscent of E.T. If you've seen E.T., where the ETs are just chilling, they're like, and then the agents show up with the flashlights shining everywhere and chaos and all that. It's kind of like that with the Ochi. Like we get a cool scene where the Ochis are just chilling, and then goes haywire, and a little baby Ochi gets separated. And he ends up with Helena Zengel, who kind of is like, hey, look, like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not like them. We need to get you back to your family. And they go on this little journey together. This movie is so beautiful and so weird at the same time, which I love. It was just so unique. So it kind of made you feel like there's still magic in the world, which I really appreciate. And, I got to give it. I'm not clapping too hard because I don't want people listening to earbuds, me to blow out their earbuds. But a special, I can't say enough for the puppeteers and the people who did the Ochi voices. The Ochi voices were so unique, but the puppeteers made you believe at all times this is a real creature. This is not a puppet, an animatronic. This is a real living thing. So I want to shout out the puppeteers: Robert Tigner, Carolyn Bowman, Lynn Robertson Bruce, Eystein Evans, and Sue Beatty, as well as the Ochi voices: Paul Manilatos, Zoe Midgley, Alexandra Dusa, Anna Maria Cucutta, Alexandra Condorant, and Anna L. Coates. I mean, I could say everything I want about, our different actors and actresses in the films, but without these puppeteers and the Ochi voices, I don't think you have the same just magic experience. I love this movie. Like I said, it's weird, it's touching, and I always wondered what A24, kids film would be like, and we got our answer. This is exactly what an A24 kids film would be like. So Legend of Ochi, I'm giving a 4.7 out of 5 cheers. I loved it. I think it could even go up. It's that good. Check it out. It's having some interesting theatrical release, but if you can see it, please go see it. It's so deserving, and I love the Ochi. They're just the coolest little things. So next up, we have The Ugly Stepsister, a.k.a. Den Stieg Stetsman, aka La Merhanastra Fe. This is a Norwegian, basically drama horror version of Cinderella, where it's from the quote unquote ugly stepsister's point of view. You know, we got Leah Myron, who's our lead, Elvira. She's one of the two stepsisters. The other stepsister, her little sister, is Flo Fagerly. Their mom, Anna Dawn Tort, plays Rebecca. Old Cinderella, aka Agnes, is played by Thea Sophia Loch Nass. And we also got, of course, the Prince Julian, as Isaac Comroth. This movie, and it's the debut of writer director Emily Blightfield. This movie, I heard a lot from the independent film, a lot of different awards, a lot of different hype from different showings. And this movie, it's good. It's slow, and there's a lot of gross. So that's one thing you know. It's not they were talking about, oh my God, people fainted and threw up. It's not that bad. It is gross though. I mean, there's some toes being cut off. There's some, stuff involving tapeworms. Like there's some gross stuff in here. I think the worst scene, there's a scene with eyeballs where they're sewing into like the eyelid, fake eyelashes. That scene got me. I was like, this is gross. This is horrible to watch, because foreign films do gore a lot differently than US films. They usually make it very realistic, and they also don't shy away from it. They make sure you're right in there. But I think all the characters did a fine job. Like I said, it's just kind of slow. I did enjoy it. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. And I think once this comes to streaming, this will probably be on Shudder. I think, Shudder or Mubi. It's hard to tell because I could see it going to either. But Ugly Stepsister, whatever you want to call it, check it out. I give it 2.9 out of 5 cheers. It's not the best movie, but there are much worse films. All right, so next up, we got Night of the Zoopocalypse. This was a movie I was very hyped for when it was coming out, and I missed it in theaters. And I mean, listen to this. We got the director, Ricardo Curtis. He worked on the art department for Ferdinand, the Peanuts movie, Epic, Rio 1 and 2, Escape from Planet Earth, Romeo and Juliet, Book of Life, and Horton Hears a Who, and the animation department on Monsters, Inc., Shrek, Osmosis Jones, which I love, Road to El Dorado, Quest for Camelot, and The Iron Giant. And the other co-director is Rodrigo Perez Castro, who was on the art department for Ferdinand, Book of Life, and Rio 2. Probably how those two met. So basically, we have a zoo. It's closing time. All the animals are doing their own little thing in their little horribly small exhibits. When, boom, meteor comes down, little bunny eats it. Little bunny turns into bunny patient 0 and starts infecting everybody. And soon we got a zoo pandemic where all the animals are getting infected and the rest that aren't infected are trying to, fight for their lives. We got some decent people. I'll just bring up, our lead is a wolf named Gracie, played by Gabby Cosmetis. And we also have David Harbour, who plays Dan, the mountain lion. And, shout out to Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, who plays Felix. He's Mr. Kim, for those who have seen his clips. And he's also our favorite pilot in The Mandalorian. This movie, it's very colorful. It's very funny. It's very fast. I really enjoyed it. All the designs of animals are kind of interesting. Like, mountain lions are not that big, but they made this dude, like, he's like a thick boy. Let's just say that. And I think it's interesting when they turn into their zombie versions, they kind of look like gummy bears. Like, their skin becomes very bright, very, like, gummy. It was very interesting. But Night of the Apocalypse, it's very fun. Like I said, it's very cute. If you have kids, I think it would be a good introduction if you want to eventually get them into horror, because it's not scary at any point, but it gets the point across. And I liked it. I dug it a lot. I give it a 3.6 out of 5 cheers. Check it out. And finally, we got, before we get into The Accountant 2 with Jerffy Choo-Choo, we got Popeye the Slayer Man. Words are hard. I've told y'all this. So my buddy Mez over at the Horror Fight podcast, fantastic podcast. If y'all like horror movies, check them out. It's him, it's Pat, and Corey, and it's just a really good time. Them are, kind of debating, doing lists with horror movies. And Mez was talking about there have been not one, not two, but 3 horror Popeye the Sailor Man movies this year. Popeye the Slayer Man, Shiver Me Timbers, and Popeye's Revenge. And so I was like, I know what I need to do. I need to go on this journey that he has already gone on and watch these Popeye films. I started with Popeye the Slayer Man because they did like practical effects. He has like this big head and these like fake arms. It looks so good. So I was like, let me start with this. So we got Jason Robert Stevens is the Sailor Man, our Popeye. This is from Robert Michael Ryan. I don't know if you can trust a man with 3 names. And, we got some different people like Elena Giuliano plays Olivia. But this movie, they basically have like an urban legend about the Sailor Man. This movie is so dumb. I had a good time with it because they did some nice little references, like he eats the spinach and it's driving him crazy. They had my man Wimpy as a little side like cameo where they were like, we don't sell cheeseburgers, and no, you can't pay tomorrow, you pay today, because Wimpy's whole thing, I'll gladly pay you tomorrow for a cheeseburger today. And so I thought that was great. Popeye has some great lines. Anchors Away was pretty funny. I am what I am. That's YAM. Thought that was funny. So the first of our 3 Popeye horror films, Popeye the Slayer Man, I give a 2.8 out of 5 cheers. But stay tuned because I think it's time we get a little Accountant 2. That's right. We just got out of Accountant 2. I could say Accountant 2 Electric Boogaloo, but how about Accountant 2 Jerffy Choo-Choo?
Choo-choo!
Yeah, you like those special effects? Only the best at a Toast of Film. But we literally just left the theater.
That's right.
Packed house.
It was like 90% full.
At the Big D. And I mean, the theater itself was slammed. I don't know how it was when you walked in. When I walked in,
the parking lot was crowded.
Yeah,
but the concessions were fairly normal, I feel like. But
it was
the theater was packed.
It was popping when I walked in. There was a line to get your ticket thing. That doesn't ever happen.
I was late because I was being held hostage by a toddler.
He was. He's a good uncle.
That's right.
One of us not so great uncle. One of us starting out strong. But The Accountant 2. So this is from Gavin O'Connor, who he directed both Accountant movies, Warrior, which awesome. I'm a huge fan of.
That's an awesome movie.
And Miracle.
Another awesome movie.
Great movie, Kurt Russell. Writer was Bill DeBuck, who did both Accountant movies and the Ozark TV series.
It's a good show.
So this man knows money laundering. That is what I'll say. This man, you want to talk to somebody about money laundering, Bill DeBuck knows. But we got Ben Affleck as Christian Wolf, the accountant. He is a gentleman who's on the spectrum, but he is good at what he does.
That's right.
And that is finding
CPA.
Finding things and
numbers.
Dude, when he okay, hold on. Let me tell you the rest of the folks, because I got some things to say about this. Which it's funny that Jerffy Choo-Choo's here because he introduced me to this movie when we were at your place.
What, The Accountant?
Yeah, remember I hadn't seen it until I came down.
Oh yeah,
and watched it at your place. So we also got John Bernthal as his brother Braxton. We got 2 people returning. One for basically a cup of coffee. That's J.K. Simmons as Ray King. Gets, taken out.
Spoilers.
Opening. That's in the trailer.
Is it?
It really is in the trailer.
I didn't watch the trailer because I knew I wanted to.
Well, that's good. But yeah, J.K. Simmons, he's Ray King. He was in the first one. He gets taken out early in this one, which is a big part of the plot.
Right. R.I.P.
And Cynthia Dye Robinson is back as Mary Beth Medina. She was in the first one. She was also Amanda Waller in Arrow, and I'm a big fan. She's Queen Muriel in The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. New folks, we have Allison Robertson, who's Justine.
Who plays the woman in the chair for Ben Affleck.
Yeah, she's the one that's always giving him, hello, sunshine. And Allison Wright is the voice of, this British voice that she has.
It's kind of funny that they're both named Allison.
Yeah, that is funny. Two Allisons, Robertson and Wright, sound like a country duo. There is a scene about that. Daniela Pineda is also in this as a secret but very lethal assassin, Agnes. Jeff, let me tell you, the first one, solid movie.
Yep.
A lot of detective, things, a lot of investigation. This one, they're like, guess what? We're gonna do two things. One, we're gonna give Christian Wolf a weird voice.
Yes,
because that is definitely not how he spoke in the first one.
He was definitely soft spoken in the first one,
but it sounded like
he was definitely more soft spoken in this one.
Like in the first one, he was soft spoken Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, he kind of has a voice when he talks.
I didn't hear.
I don't know. That's what I heard, at least. But they also were like, "Buckle your seatbelt, buddy boy. We're gonna give y'all two things: action and comedy, and maybe not in that order."
That's true. This movie was a lot funnier
because
there wasn't really and there was no investigative piece, which was serious.
Yeah,
it was more about the action and just the brotherly bond between Ben Affleck's character and John Bernthal's character, which was hilarious.
Yeah, they play a very good like straight man, odd man.
They do.
And I really enjoyed this because I like the investigative. It worked really well with the first one. This one, the investigative is a subplot involving this this family that J.K. Simmons was looking for.
Right.
But let me tell y'all, the action, I mean, we're not even that far into the movie. Ben Affleck goes to this pizza place.
Mm-hmm.
He about breaks the arm of like 6 dudes with barely even breaking a sweat.
Right, and then the treasury lady is like, hey, stop, hey, stop, hey, don't do that. That's not right.
Look,
he's just like, no.
We never want to encourage drinking, even though, we do partake of that on the podcast responsibly, always responsibly. I will say this. If you take a shot every time Mary Beth Medina says something about this isn't the law, this is illegal, something of that kind of worded,
you will not remember the movie.
You're not going to make it that far. You're not going to see a cat. You're not going to see
you're not going to see line dancing.
You're not and if you don't see line dancing,
you're missing out.
Let me tell you, we figured out Christian Wolf's type, because it is very apparent what his type is.
That is true.
He got them digits.
He did.
Will he call her? Probably not.
No. That was one of the funniest scenes I ever saw, and it was also kind of heartfelt as well at the end because John Bernthal's character was like, "Hey, that's my brother over there."
Yeah, it was nice. That you get a lot of "that's my brother" and "I hate you, brother."
Yeah, especially when they were on top of the Airstreamer, just shooting and it was just so funny, just the bickering they did back and forth. They really did carry the movie.
Let me tell you, 2 separate scenes. John Bernthal, no pants. Because on top of the Airstreamer, he had no pants. And when he's walking through the hotel room,
he also
had no pants. And let me tell you, John Bernthal's packing heat, if y'all catch my drift.
Yes, Ed, he had a gun.
Yeah, he had something, all right.
He had a gun. He's a hitman.
But this movie, like I said, the subplot involves this missing family that J.K. Simmons was looking for. Your main plot is tied to that, but in a different way. It's hard to elaborate, but there is there's a line between the two.
Yeah, there's
that eventually comes
the
together.
subplot is the legal investigations, and then the main plot is just sort of the brothers sort of rekindling their bond, and also doing their own same investigation that the Treasury lady is doing,
but a kill 'em all version.
Right, kill them all off the books.
Mm-hmm.
Their own, fatherly taught way.
Yeah. We know what kind of guy he was.
Exactly.
But this movie, it is so much fun, which I did not expect. And it's just so much action. I did not expect the level of action in this.
No, I thought there was a lot of action that I would agree with that. I didn't think there'd be that much action. I knew there, of course, there'd be action. But you had the opening scene with the pizzeria. You've got the big action scene at the end.
I mean, that's basically like a war zone.
Yeah, exactly. Because they were, fighting. They were in Juarez. That's enough said right there.
We get a minor glimpse during the line dancing, which, let me tell y'all, as someone who has line danced on film before, that is not as much fun as you think it is.
I wouldn't think so, because you got to get everybody in sync, right?
Well, so it's not just that, but you're doing multiple takes.
True.
And also
multiple takes, different angles.
Most time, no music.
Oh, that's lame.
So what they do is, at least because we were doing a music video, they play like 10 seconds so that you get a rhythm in your head. And from that rhythm, you just have to go. And the day we did it, we basically had like 2 hours to learn an entire line dance.
That's lame.
Yeah. Fun times though. Fun times in the old Royale, as they say. But Jerffy Choo-Choo, what would you give The Accountant to?
I think it's definitely above 4.
Okay.
I would probably give it a 4.3.
Okay, I'm at a 4.2.
Oh, nice.
Because I do think, even though, like you said, the subplot and the main plot, they're both
investigating the same thing.
The same thing.
Trying to find the family.
It definitely feels like when you cut to the subplot, it is slowing the momentum. Just because, like, when it's the two brothers, you're having so much fun hanging out with them. You're getting so much action.
You are, but they wouldn't have discovered who the wife is, I don't think, without the subplot with
that's fair.
The Treasury lady doing her investigating, because she was the one who actually discovered that twist.
And I will say, one thing I appreciated is there's a line that one of the characters says early in the movie that they come back around to at the very end.
What line was it? Spoilery?
Yeah, it's spoilery. Let's just say it involves a towel.
Oh, right.
And I like that. I like that pictures we see early on are explained later. So there's no loose ends in this movie, which I really do appreciate. Everything. I mean, even a small thing that the brothers say to each other, where it's like, are you a dog guy or a cat guy? Even that gets tied up. So I really appreciate this. I was laughing, though, at the fact that Justine, who's always like helping Christian, we only heard her voice in the first one. We see her in this one.
Right. I
do appreciate that she got she like Charles Xavier got her own little X-Men skull.
That is, I was not expecting that scene, because in the first movie, at the end, they sort of just show that he's got like a voice in the chair, and it's at this school for neurodivergent kids, and then in this movie, it's like, crap, he's got a whole operation going on.
Dude, they got an operation going on. They got all these little kids. Let me tell you, don't think these kids can't mess with you. These kids know. I mean, at one scene, I'm not going to get into it. Y'all need to just
it was a good scene, but like I was just not expecting the whole NFL parade they had going
Yeah,
over there.
they got things. And when you look at the aerial shot, I'm like, this looks like Xavier's School for Gifted.
I mean, it kind of is.
Maybe this is like a wing of Xavier's where they're like, y'all aren't mutants, so y'all can't do our mutant stuff. But guess what? Here's all the technology you could ever dream.
Exactly.
Of. But fun movie. I highly suggest you check it out. Jerffy thinks you should check it out. He rated it higher than me.
That's right.
And if you want to let us know what you think about Accountant 2, Electric Boogaloo, or as we like to call it, Accountant 2, Jerffy Choo-Choo,
Choo-choo,
then you can do it in so many ways. But let me tell you the best ways. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok, A Toast of Film, all one word. Check us out on Twitter, @film_toast. Or check us out on beautiful YouTube. I got the Hawaiian shirt today. Jeff, what you got? What you rocking?
Classically trained with an NES controller.
Okay. I did see a shirt where I leaned over. I was like, this needs to be Jeff's next shirt.
Oh, yeah.
It was so weird. It had a chicken and it said awesome sauce. It made no sense, but I loved it. I want it for myself. I'll rip the sleeves off, though. It'll be my pump up shirt. But check us out. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. I check everything. I'll read it. And we just wish you a good night
and good viewing.